Do you like listening to Sexpert? How much do you like listening to Sexpert? Show me how much you like listening to Sexpert. And go to podcasts in the iTunes store, rate, review, and subscribe to Sexpert. Listen, I'm already so happy that you're listening, and if you're subscribed, I am so happy that you're subscribed. But the only way that we get boosted in the iTunes store is if you rate and or review us. Super simple. Click of a button, type of a key, just say how much you love us. If you don't have anything to say, I don't know, talk about your favorite TV program. Basically, if you do it, it boosts us, and it kind of makes me happy too. So go to the iTunes store, find Sexpert in podcast, make sure to click those 5 stars, yes, all 5 of them, leave a cool review that I can read, and maybe I'll read it on the show. If you leave a cool review, I may read it on the show. So rate, review, subscribe to Sexpert in iTunes, and thank you for listening.
You're listening to Sexpert with me, Renee, where we say words like piece of shit, motherfucker, cocksucker, cunt. We get so dirty that even your mother's soap bar can't clean our mouths. You've been warned.
Welcome to Sexpert with me and Renee, where we talk everything sex. Get ready for awkward topics, inappropriate jokes, foul language, and a little bit of education. We are no doctors, just young adults looking to inform our generation about sex so they can live healthier, naughtier lives. I'm Mia Renee, your host. Are you ready? Hi guys, welcome to Sexpert with Mia Renee. I'm your host, Mia Renee, and we are here tonight teaching our generation how to lead healthier and naughtier lives. It's episode 7, and today we're talking about the big O, orgasms. Tonight, it's Madison, Mason, and I. How are you guys doing? What have you been up to?
Doing
good.
Wonderful.
Working.
Yeah.
Working. Same. Work about killed me tonight. I'm home about to just die, and I have an early morning tomorrow, so I'm let's get this out. Kind of like half the orgasms I experience. But
all right, I don't have time for this.
Gotta get it out. Gotta do it. Gotta get it out. So,
No pressure.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the different types of orgasms you can experience, how to improve your orgasms for both men and women, and we have Madison's weird erotica segment tonight as well. So we're going to read an excerpt of weird erotica. You guys excited? I'm so stoked for this. Yeah, how could you not be, right? It's orgasms. It's just the best thing. I don't know. So
Literally is the best thing.
Literally is the best thing. Mason, if you have any more stories, please just
You know what? I think more or less this episode, I'm here to learn.
You're here to learn about female orgasms.
I don't know
about anything.
I don't know any. I don't want to say science. That sounds like weird, but no, I don't know a whole lot of terminology and knowledge.
Not a whole lot of terminology. Well, no, not really. No, it's not.
I mean,
not
I think a lot of women don't know a lot of it, terminology and stuff. So I don't think you're alone on that. I don't think it's just a guy thing.
And a lot of women don't know how to improve their orgasms, just like a lot of men don't know. A lot of people don't even know there's a way to physically train your body to have better orgasms, and we're going to be talking about that on today's show. So, Sex Today. I found this really interesting article on Metro called Here's How Sexism is Wrecking Your Orgasms. And I'm just going to read the article because it's short and it's interesting. We all know sexism is shit and we need to get it sorted ASAP. But in case the wage gap, rape, and catcalling isn't enough to make you put solving sexism at the top of your to-do list, here's another reason to hate sexism and all its consequences. It's affecting your sex life, and not in a good way. We're not talking about aggressive sexism that's contributing to rape culture and upholding worrying ideas about consent. That's an incredibly important issue that really needs fixing. We're talking about something less serious, a type of sexism we let slide because it doesn't appear to be doing us any harm. A new study reveals that benevolent sexism, meaning sexism that's quote-unquote well-meaning and is expressed by men who want to look after and protect men, is reducing women's likelihood of achieving orgasm. Andy 100 explains that when women internalize benevolent sexism and accept the idea that they are or should be more passive, they tend to have more sexually selfish partners, meaning they're less likely to orgasm because they think they need to be more passive during sex. Women who didn't believe they needed to rely on men or that they needed to be passive had much more satisfying sex lives. They were less likely to perceive their partners to be sexually selfish and much more likely to achieve orgasms. Interesting, right? So to recap, if you want more orgasms or you're a straight guy who actually wants to be perceived as good at sex, we'll need to sort out benevolent sexism. Stop viewing women as weak and in need of protection. Your sex life depends on it. I thought that was interesting because you almost think, like, if you're passive during sex, you're almost not even enjoying it as much anyway. So you're not, like, letting yourself get into it. Right? So I kind of like got that in a sense. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And they've linked it to, like, benevolent sexism for whatever reason. What do you guys think? Like, in your personal experiences?
I think it makes sense. I get it. I don't know how to explain it, but I get it. Because I'm clueless on this. I'm not gonna lie, but I can understand like what they mean.
Yeah. Mason, have you ever had like passive sex partners?
I want to say yes.
Explain passive.
Yeah.
Passive,
right.
like, they're not really into it, you know, like, that's how it is when you're passive, not really into it, so maybe just, like, lying there, not really wanting to try other positions, kind of wanting to get it over with, in a sense, so they're not being, like, super into it, like, they're not being super passionate, they're not giving any feedback to their partner, stuff like that.
Well, of course you're not going to achieve satisfactory ratings at that.
Yeah, like, you're not going to have any type of good orgasm if you're like that. But Mason, you think you've had some passive sex partners in the past?
Yeah, I've definitely had one. I think maybe only one, because only like that just comes to the top of my head. But it was, you know, we had been dating for a while, and I would almost compare it to like a dead bedroom, if that makes sense. Just like not really. Neither of us were really into it anymore.
Yeah,
does that make
like
sense?
you needed
Am
a
I
way
making
to like
sense at all?
spice it all up.
Right.
You've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and it was
Yeah,
just
I've totally fallen into that pit.
Oh yeah.
Once.
Yeah, it happens a
It's
lot.
horrible.
Was that like a longer relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, that was definitely something to get through.
Yeah, and Madison, have you ever like had a passive sex partner or been the passive sex partner? I feel like you've never like been passive.
No.
Yeah, no. Like I feel like that's not a you thing.
I've only had 2, and I don't even really count the first one. And absolutely not. No. And neither, I mean, in any way, ever. So I'm sorry for those that have. That sounds terribly
like,
sad.
I'm sorry, but I've had an amazing sex life, so fuck y'all. Yeah, and I definitely get it. There have been a couple, literally like 2 or 3 times that I've had sex where I've been very passive when having it, and it's not at all enjoyable when you're being passive.
But if you're passive, why do it anyway?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I think a lot of it for me stemmed from wanting to please the man in that way, and like not really wanting to say no, which is a whole issue in itself. Like, but they were all like a long time ago, but it was like wanting to make him happy when I necessarily, and there was a time in my life where I was on all these different meds that like completely diminished my sex drive. I had no sex drive whatsoever, so I never wanted sex anyway. There are very few times before I went off those meds that I like actually like was horny enough to have sex or want it. So like it's a completely different story now because I'm not on any of those meds anymore. But it, like, I definitely get it. Like, you know, if you're going to be passive, you're going to have trouble really experiencing that bodily pleasure and having any type of orgasm, especially if you're faking it. If you're faking orgasms, that's just a whole nother level.
Well, I think it's like a lot of things that we've talked about before. You really have to be into it yourself, like with anything like this.
Yeah, and I was reading somewhere, like, when I was looking through stuff, you know, to inspire me for the show, that, like, one thing you really need to do is make sure you're not all in your head when having sex. If you're thinking all in your head, you need to be really focusing on the pleasure part of it. And that's what you got to do, you know? You really need to focus on that pleasure you're feeling, on the way your partner's body feels against yours, like all the physical contacts. You need to be focusing a lot on that, because that's just going to make it so much more pleasurable for you. And
I
much
mean,
more easier to orgasm.
And you're gonna have days where it's, you know, you've got a lot in your head or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's just not gonna be
Yeah.
easy. But you still like want to. That's happened to me. But
And if you, like, focus almost, though, like, every time on, you know, the more physical aspect of it, you know, like the pleasure and everything, center point, like, you'll almost train yourself to always do that. And so that can help. That can help, too. So we're talking about orgasms today, and I wanted to talk about the different types of orgasms that women can experience. Because the majority of our listeners are women, I wanted to talk about that. But we're also going to be giving some tips out to men, and a few as well. So I ran a Twitter poll asking my followers how many types of orgasms they thought. I said, how many different types of orgasms do you think there are? I didn't specify for which gender. And the options were 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2 got 0 votes. Absolutely none. 3 got 80% of votes, and 4 got 20% of the votes.
I vote 4.
You vote 4. What do you vote, Mason? How many types do you think there are?
Yeah, Madison seems knowledgeable. I think 4 is a good number. Yeah.
Yeah, so women
That's just what I hope anyway.
That's what
Right.
I hope. Women can experience 4 main different types. It's like accepted. There's 4 different types. If you like go online and search how many types of orgasms can women experience, you'll find websites that'll give you like 16, right? But there are 4
geez.
basic types of orgasms that women can experience, and it's really cool. You know, ladies, let's learn more about your bodies and the different orgasms you can experience, because you can have so many different types of orgasms, not just one. So
I'm so happy I was right.
yeah, woo, you are a smart cookie, Madison. So are you, Mason. Even though you're like, I feel like you're just cheated. Like you're like the cheater in high school.
That's true. Yeah, totally did.
You just copy my paper.
Pretty much. So the first orgasm is the clitoral orgasm. So that is by stimulating the clitoris, because you have about 8,000 nerve endings that fucking end in that little button. So you can have
#fave.
fave orgasm. Yes. And in order to increase your chances with this, actually, I'm going to go through each of these afterwards about increasing, like, possible chances of achieving these orgasms. And then we have the vaginal orgasm. So that's, like, where your G-spot is. 30% of women say that they can have an orgasm solely from vaginal penetration. Lucky ducks. And then we have the blended orgasm, which is basically when you have the combined clitoral and vaginal orgasm together. So you see that a lot when you're being penetrated and your partner or yourself, you're rubbing the clitoris, and you have what is a blended orgasm. When I hear that, I always think of the movie Blended with Adam Sandler and like, is it Drew Barrymore? Probably. I don't know why. And then we have...
I changed my mind. That one's my favorite.
That one, the blended, yes. And then we have the last one, which is multiple orgasms. And I'm just going to read the little paragraph here. To be clear, multiple orgasms happen one right after the next, not at different times in one session. Studies show that multiple orgasms are possible for some women if they can withstand being continuously stimulated after their first and second and third and fourth and blah, blah, blah finishes. So that's like again and again and again. It's a lot of, it's a lot of work. So then how like can we try to improve these different types of orgasms, right? And this is of course for women. So the clitoral orgasm. it always helps to work with your fingers, exploring yourself a bit down there through masturbation, which we talked about in our first episode, right? So there's different, ways you can move your fingers across your clitoris. You can go in a circular motion, in a diagonal motion. You can go in a vertical horizontal motion. You can play around with your, the upper part of the clitoral hood there, the labia, the shaft, all your skin around there. Just play around that and get yourself excited. You can also I'm moving my fingers as I talk, really weird. If you feel like switching to oral, you could have your partner approach your clit indirectly by lying perpendicular to you. So instead of his, you normally see with his head in between your legs, sandwiched, he's at a right angle to you almost. So then in order to increase your chances with a clitoral orgasm, it always helps to have some kind of a vibrator, like a bullet. They suggest on this website, this is Women's Health Mag, this fingertip vibrator called the Hello Touch Wearable Fingertip Vibrator, which is nice. Or you can use the bullet, or what's the one I always that I always refer to and talk about all the time?
The necklace.
The necklace. What is it called though? I just blanked on it. There's this really cool necklace. Everyone, it's the best. So vaginal orgasms, how to improve those. First of all, you need to know where your G-spot is. So it helps to go exploring in your vagina, kind of like Magic School Bus, right? So just put your fingers up in there, and it's usually towards the front of your vagina. So I know I'm making a lot of hand motions as I'm talking, but you're going to find a spot that is a little rough to the touch. It doesn't feel like the rest of your vagina. It's a little spot right there, and it's towards the front of your vagina. And that is your G-spot. So just keep touching that.
And I should be taking notes.
You're taking notes?
No, I feel like I should be.
Yeah, go for it. Just keep doing it. I mean, all these links will be in the show notes, of course.
Right.
So that's where the G-spot is. And some women, it's further up. Some it's closer. It just depends. But that's where it is. And for a lot of women, when you continuously put pressure on it or stroke it, it feels like you have to pee. Yeah, Madison's yeah. And that's just how it is. So you could work on directly touching it. When you're having sex, you could focus on your partner, or if they're fingering you, have them focusing, their attention on there. You could find positions that work best for you where it really hits your G-spot. For me, I find that doggy style is usually the best position to hit my G-spot. Either that or a cowgirl, but when the guy is actually sitting up, he's not lying down. So he's sitting with his back against the headboard or something if you're on a bed, and then he's sitting up. I find that the angle hits my G-spot best with his penis, and it feels amazing. And then of course, to increase your chances of a vaginal orgasm, honestly, Kegels are the best for this, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Both men and women can do Kegels in order to increase their orgasms. It's not just for vaginal orgasms, it's for orgasms across the board, but this is the best way to increase vaginal orgasms. And also just basically, just when you're masturbating, not focusing solely on the clitoris and focusing more on the G-spot and the vagina and the area surrounding it, the lips and stuff, and just making sure you're spending time on those as well. And it can take some time, especially just to get solely a G-spot orgasm. So blended orgasms, techniques to try and increase them. For blended orgasm, of course, having the girl on top is one of the best ways, kind of like cowgirl, because that gives the guy or the girl direct access to the clitoris. It's not being shielded or covered by anything, because you're more exposed, if you get that mental image at all. Also, if we do reverse cowgirl, so that's sitting on top but facing the opposite direction, that also helps as well. Let's see, if you do the missionary position but where your legs are kind of they're up, so they're not laying down, that helps as well too. Just any positions that give you access, easy access to the clitoris while you're having sex are the best positions to do. I find that cowgirl is the best one. So blended orgasms are easier if the woman is very aroused before she has intercourse, because that's going to help with the G-spot orgasm especially. But if you're very aroused, your clitoris, because Mason and other people listening that may not know this, or Madison, I don't know if you know this, but like the clitoris erects like a penis erects. So when you're very like turned on, it actually becomes bigger, therefore more sensitive and more like accessible, because if you've ever looked truly at a woman, the clitoris is kind of covered by a little bit of skin, like it's got that clitoral hood there, and when it erects, it kind of pops out more from that. So when you're really trying to have that erected clitoris, so it's obviously a lot easier to get a stimulation from it, because it's easier to get to, it's a lot bigger, it's a lot more sensitive. So making sure the woman is just very aroused before having sex. So that requires a lot of foreplay, and what arouses one person may not arouse others. So just know, you need to experiment with these things. What arouses you, what doesn't. And of course, masturbation and playing around with your partner are the keys to this. And then multiple orgasms, which we talked about. For another for just like a repeated clarification, that's when orgasms happen one right after the other. Not multiple times in like one session, but just like one after the other. So different things to try in order to increase your chances. When doing foreplay, try first for the guy to, or not the guy, but for whoever is giving oral, to give you a clitoral orgasm. So solely a clitoral orgasm. And then immediately afterward, you want your G-spot to be stimulated in a slower manner for about 30 seconds or so, and then resume to like the normal pace of G-spot stimulation. So basically have your partner get you off orally, and then they can either insert their fingers or insert their penis or whatever, and kind of go slowly with the G-spot for about 30 seconds and then go at like a normal pace. So it kind of builds up the intensity. And then from there, like, you could really begin having sex. So you could try the first part with fingers and then have him enter you, which of course girls know this, and it obviously guys do too, but entering is a whole nother level. Like when a man enters your vagina, it's just a whole nother level of just pleasure. Madison's prayer hands over here. It's just a whole nother level of pleasure. So, you can just keep repeating this and making sure at different intensities, different positions, stuff like that.
Have either of you ever experienced that?
Multiple orgasms by myself.
Oh.
Yeah. Mason?
Well, I haven't experienced it firsthand. I know that I've had at least one partner who we've openly talked about it. It seemed like she was very prone to having that happen. Just again and again and again and again. I loved it.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like a session, having sex, it could go on for longer. I feel like that she was able to go on for longer, and she certainly seemed like she was. Mm-hmm. I want to call it the dream because it's kind of what it is, I guess. I feel like that's probably the best of both worlds for both parties.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So, oh yeah, I'm sure it's lots of fun. I mean, I wouldn't know, but so
poor Mason. And
yeah,
you, Madison, have you experienced?
No, I mean, like, not one right after the other. No.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, and a tip, like, if you're feeling too sensitive.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so if you're
like,
feeling too sensitive, you obviously, you got to keep going in order to achieve the multiple orgasms. You can't have, like, a beer break or whatever. You got to keep going. So have your partner continue, like, stroking your clitoris over, like, with something in between your clitoris and your tongue, like a pair of panties, or something smooth,
Okay.
even like silk panties.
Because I get really like,
Yeah, you could even try
extra
like a dental
sensitive.
dam, like just pop one of those out or something. So like over a buffer like that, or I would even say that they could play around with like your lips and like areas surrounding the clitoris. Or like go from the clitoris to the G spot and back to the clitoris. I would consider that acceptable. But if you want direct stimulation the entire time, you'd want something kind of in between it, because that it helps, right? It helps you not be quite as sensitive.
by back to back, what do you mean, like the time span?
I don't think there's I think it's like not a specific time span, but I mean I would say it's I mean it's pretty much back to back. Like it's, you know, you have one orgasm and you go straight for getting another one. So it's like there's no time where you're fooling around or getting or like helping your partner do whatever. You're like you finish an orgasm and immediately after you're aiming for another one. Yes. Yeah. Mason's like yes.
Yes.
Let's go for that.
Yeah. So that's kind of the idea behind it. So ways you can improve orgasms. We've talked about the 4 different types for women to the 4 different types of orgasms women can experience and how to improve those. But how can you just improve orgasms in general for like everybody? We talked about not being passive, being really just into the sex you're having, which is why it's important to never have sex if you're not feeling it. We talked about focusing on the physical part versus what you want for dinner, because that just helps you feel more pleasure. Also, being relaxed. If you're really tense, it's not going to feel great, obviously. And then masturbation is a weird way to approach it. Some people find if they masturbate too much that they don't have as great sex, because they, you know, you masturbate, you really know your body really well, so you know the best ways to really get you off. And so then when you have someone else trying to get you off, or you're having sex or something, you find that it's not the best solution to masturbate, so it doesn't help your orgasms or your pleasure. But then other people find that the more they masturbate, the more of an intensity they build, so the more like orgasms they're able to experience. Like for instance, like multiple orgasms, they're able to build up that sensitive intensity, so they're able to take more and more and more and more. So you just need to figure out which works best for you. And it all does start with masturbation, just exploring yourself and what you like, what you can handle, stuff like that. So those are like kind of like my really simple tips. Did you guys have any that you find worked for you personally, or you had any like
Those
personal
really cover it,
experiences?
I mean,
I think that's about
Yeah,
it
yeah.
that I can think of.
It's like the 4 simple tips.
Right.
Like masturbate, figure out what works for you, and then the other 3. I'm tired. It was that one. It was, let's see.
be in the zone.
Be in the zone. Don't, or be in the zone. Is that like under don't be passive, I guess? There was don't be passive. There was masturbation. There was the physical aspect of the sex, and there was like the be relaxed part. Am I missing anything?
I think that was 4. I'm not good at counting, but
Yeah, that was 4. I was counting on my fingers. So I was like, as I was rattling through. So then what the fuck are Kegels?
oh god.
Let's play a game. Who here can spell Kegel?
Not me.
Does anyone want to sound it out? Like we're like in the 5th grade spelling bee?
No.
Okay, Mason.
Can you
well.
use it in the sentence?
I practiced Kegels 3 times today to increase my chances of orgasming during sex.
Twice during this conversation.
Kegel is spelled Kegel. Pretty much almost exactly as it sounds. It's a really weird word and I hate it. Madison's like, what?
I was just thinking about, I don't, just never
So
mind.
Kegels basically is, Kegel exercises are basically increasing your pelvic floor muscle. So it's working out your pelvic floor muscle. So since it's your pelvic floor muscle and everyone has a pelvic floor muscle, everyone can do Kegels. Everyone can do Kegels. And it increases, like, it helps orgasms for everybody. But it's most popular among women. Because I guess there's the whole, oh, men can't do Kegels. Yes, they can. Men can fucking do Kegels. So,
I did not know.
yeah, they can, because everyone has a pelvic floor muscle. So, a lot of people do Kegels, especially later in life, if they're having problems like, you know, peeing themselves or stuff. So, one benefit, especially for women, to do Kegels is, especially starting younger in life, is that's going to decrease your chances of having a weak pelvic floor muscle as you get older, because it weakens as you get older. And so that's why a lot of older people have to wear like liners or diapers and stuff, because their pelvic floor muscle isn't controlled. And so there's no like really muscle built there, so they can't control their peeing. But that's really, you know, not on topic. But if you need a huge encouragement to be doing Kegels on a daily basis now while you're young, there's your encouragement. You won't be wearing a diaper at 70. Woohoo! And that's great for men too. Yeah. So how to do Kegel exercises. So I'm going to link this below. This is the Mayo Clinic. This is like a basic guide for like how to do Kegels. It doesn't relate it to sex, however. It's just about how to do them. And it's like a how-to guide for women, but it's basically the fucking same for men. So first you need to find the right muscles. And this is super, super easy to do. When you're peeing, just stop peeing midstream. And the muscles you use to do that are your pelvic floor muscles. So and that goes for men too. So like just stop peeing midstream. And those are the muscles that you're tightening. Like right there. So once you've identified those, you can do pelvic floor muscle exercises in any position, any time of day, anywhere, and no one will know, because they're not looking at your pelvis.
Am I doing it right now? Am I not?
Who knows? But it does say that, you know, it might be easiest to do them lying down at first, but you can practice them and get better on them, and it may help to just do it every time you pee at first, like, you know, practice it every time you pee. Hopefully you're peeing at least 3 times a day, because, you know, that's how many times you should be doing Kegels a day. Then you want to like perfect your technique. So what they suggest, they have like sets and stuff here. So you should hold your contraction for 5 seconds and then relax for 5 seconds, and then do that 4 or 5 times in a row. And then you got to work up to it. So then work up to 10 seconds of contraction, and then 10 seconds between the contraction periods. So you're working up, you know, you're building up to how many seconds you can hold it. And it may not feel like it's hard, especially when you're younger, like it may not be hard to do, but it's increasing the muscle there. And then you want to be aiming to do that at least 3 times a day. So they're saying aim for at least 3 sets of 10 repetitions a day. Does that make sense for everyone? Yeah. Cool.
That's not like, it's not while you're peeing though.
No, I mean, no, you can, but like what I'm saying is that's how you find your pelvic floor muscle. Mm-hmm. So if it's easiest to do, hell, I mean, you can do it while you're peeing. You perfectly able to. It's not hurting anybody, but like you can do them any other time of the day. And once you get really used to it, you can do them anywhere in any position. And you know, it just is great.
Yeah. And you said that you do it by stopping your pee, like
stopping. Yeah, so that's how you find the muscles. That's the muscles. Okay. When you stop your flow of pee, that's your pelvic floor muscles stopping it.
See, I didn't know this, but
yes,
I've done a Kegel before. I've done one Kegel. Just being curious, like, can I do this?
You have done one Kegel.
I feel like that's a lot harder than it sounds to just stop peeing.
No.
But
maybe I just have weak Kegels. I don't know.
Muscle. Yeah.
Or weak pelvic muscles. I'm sorry.
Maybe.
It's probably because you haven't been practicing.
Yeah, true that. I need to practice my Kegels.
Yeah. So it's just a great way to really increase your pelvic floor muscle there, and for best results, always focus on just tightening your pelvic floor muscles, which is why you want to be finding those right muscles. So be careful to not flex like the muscles in your abs, your thighs, your butts. Avoid holding your breath. Breathe freely. Pretty normal stuff. So then how does this like increase orgasms? How does your pelvic floor muscle lead to increased orgasms? Basically, this intensifies pleasure. That's what it does. Because you're stronger there, so you have more of a pleasure point. You're more sensitive. So it just increases pleasure for you during sex. And Kegels are pretty great. And there's a really cool app you can download called Kegel Camp. And it's like a boot camp Kegel app done by sexologist Emily Morose, I believe. She has a podcast called Sex with Emily. You guys should listen. It's great. She's amazing. But she has an app called Kegel Camp. And you literally just listen to her going, tighten, let go. Like she like leads you. It's like a breathing exercise almost of like tightening and then like loosening and tightening and loosening. So it's a great way to start with your Kegels. In order to improve your orgasms and also not have to wear a diaper at the age of like 60 or whatever. Yeah, double thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Yeah, that makes more sense. So I was traversing the web for orgasm articles, and it's always so funny because I type in the keyword and porn is always the first thing to come up, but I always go to the news side of Google, the news. And I found this really cool article on Elite Daily. It will, of course, be listed below in our show notes, but it's what your zodiac sign says about the type of orgasm you normally experience.
Fuck.
So let's go through our zodiac signs, and I'll read for each one of us. So let's start with Mason. What's your zodiac sign?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, what's your birthday?
I'm born on June 21st, which is the first day of summer. To some people, I'm a Cancer. To others, I'm a Gemini. And in truth, I'm just a horrible monster. Apparently I don't exist.
Oh
so.
my gosh, Mason.
Yeah, I know. Why is everything so difficult?
It's so difficult.
So you're June 21st, you're a Cancer. Because
Okay.
Gemini ends on June 20th. So you are Cancer, like my mom and my dad. So we'll learn about their orgasms too.
Oh, not too much TMI for you, though.
Cancer, the emotional orgasm. Are you ready for this, Mason?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. You Cancers are emotional beings. I've been in serious relationships with 2 Cancers. This is the writer. So I'm speaking and drawing from my deep well of personal experience here. You put feeling into everything you do, which is what makes you so gorgeous and so passionate and so lovely. Heard that, Mason? You're gorgeous, passionate, and lovely.
Oh.
So when you orgasm, it's a massively emotional experience. Sometimes you have sad orgasms because it draws up the pain from an old heartbreak. Sometimes you have happy orgasms because you're so happy to be in love and you practically weep from joy. Sometimes you have anxiety orgasms because you're worried your partner isn't orgasming as intensely as you. Sex and emotions go hand in hand, and it's never just an orgasm with Cancer. Nah, feelings are intertwined with your sexuality. It can be annoying, but also hot. Just saying.
I'm a
Yeah,
pretty
no,
emotional
that's pretty
person. I
true.
could not imagine that.
Is that pretty true, Mason?
It's pretty me. I don't
Do
know if
you
I'm
have sad and anxiety orgasms? I felt like when I was
I-
reading that paragraph, I was reading a book about emotions written for children. Sometimes you're sad.
Yeah. I don't think I'm the kind of person who I think I bottle up my emotions probably a little bit more than I should.
Yeah, I see that.
But so like during orgasms, I don't think I've ever cried during an orgasm. I don't think I've ever laughed during an orgasm. I don't think I've ever like had a really stupid big smile on my face either.
Crying during an orgasm. I'm
Yeah.
just imagining you right now, just
But-
crying while having sex or something.
I totally think that I do invest a lot of emotion into orgasms and sex, and I think that's pretty accurate as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, fuck it. I'm an emotional orgasmic bitch. That's me. My name is Mason.
My name is Mason, and I'm an emotional orgasmic bitch. Love
That's
it.
great.
Madison, what's your sign?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Oh, fuck. Now I gotta find all these signs again. Oh, it's like the
But
first
I
one.
will warn you that a lot of things that I've read about Aquarius do not really fit me. Like,
Really?
I was supposed to be born in January, so I think
Yeah.
maybe I'm more that than the
Yeah.
Aquarius. I don't know. It just depends.
What's January? Oh, it's not gonna work now. Okay, whatever. Okay, so we're just gonna read for Aquarius. You're the wild ocean orgasm.
Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty fitting.
Okay.
This is what I was trying to like figure out in my head what I would describe mine as, and I was like,
Yeah.
if you're swimming underwater and you come up for air, that's what I feel
Oh,
like.
that is so cool. Okay, so you're magnetically drawn to the water, my cute little water baby. In
I'm a
fact,
mermaid.
you're the one with the water, and lucky for you, your orgasms are always amazingly strong because nothing is stronger than your natural element, the water. If our sexuality is the core of who we are and your core is water, then you better believe your orgasms are as powerful as the ocean herself. When you come, it's full blast. It's dangerous and it's unpredictable, just like the ocean.
That sounds
Is that fitting?
about right. That's a good one.
I love that. When you come, it's full blast. It's dangerous.
Sounds like I'm just
and it's
going all over the place.
unpredictable.
I have a rogue wave over here, and then I have me, the drama queen.
Rogue wave and drama queen.
Okay.
That's perfect.
I
All
love
right,
it.
let's hear yours,
That's
Bea.
great. Okay, so I'm an Aries. Shit, where is it? I'm an Aries, and usually with my like zodiac sign stuff, like that you see on social media, it's usually pretty fitting for me, honestly. So I'm interested to see what this says about me. I can't find it. So, oh, here we go. Aries. Yep, the independent orgasm. That sounds like me, just masturbating all the time. Just like, I don't need no man. Okay. Aries, you're a fierce, true, independent entity. You're a trailblazer who truly doesn't need anyone for anything, including your orgasms. You can perfectly please yourself, thank you very much. In fact, you prefer to get yourself off rather than depending on someone else to get you off. You inherently understand that giving yourself an orgasm is the most powerful thing you can do. So, stay empowered and keep getting yourself off, my lovely Aries creature. Holy shit, that is me. Like, that is me. Like, holy shit. So, if any of our listeners want to know what their signs orgasm is, you can check this article out. It's in the show notes. It's pretty interesting. Did either of you like want to figure out what your partner's
Yes,
one
that's
is?
what I was just about to ask
Yeah,
you.
because these are fun to read. So I'm like, let's just keep going. Like, what's your partner's? What's his? Do you know what his is or when his birthday is?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, Madison.
Yeah, Leo.
Oh, you just know. Damn, that fits. I definitely see him as a Leo.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mainly because
he is
low-key
such a,
looks like a lion
in
to
every
me.
way.
Okay, the expensive orgasm.
Well, of course.
Leos are ambitious creatures who crave the very best of everything in the world. You want designer clothing and designer vibrators, babe. Well, I mean,
Well,
sure.
yeah, I mean,
You can't
what?
just get off with your bare hands. You need a rose gold exclusive limited edition vibrator from Babeland. That or you can only get off with someone when her body is adorned in some pricey lingerie from Agent Provocateur La Perla. Or you could even get off with a bottle of expensive champagne. Just be careful because that can backfire and result to a trip in the hospital. And then she says, I read a horror story about a bottle of champagne getting stuck inside a girl today. Be bougie, but be safe.
I don't know about that.
You don't know? You don't think that fits? What do you think your partner's, like, sexual orgasm identity fucking thing would be?
I don't know, but I don't know about that whole expensive champagne and
The champagne was kind of out of
we do
out of the
that,
blue.
but
So I'm going to go through each one and kind of read their orgasm type, and then if that arouses any of our listeners, they can go check it out. So Capricorn is the dominatrix orgasm. Aquarius, the wild ocean orgasm. That's Madison. Pisces, how's that said? Pisces, the pop song orgasm.
Oh,
Aries,
that's interesting.
Aries, the independent orgasm. Taurus. Shit, I don't know any of these.
Taurus.
I'm so bad with these.
Like the car?
I get, yeah, sure. The sensual orgasm. Gemini, the kinky orgasm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep.
Well, Yep.
So you have been with a Gemini before, Mason.
Yep. I had to be the drama queen, not the kinky one. Literally one
Gemini,
day off.
it was the other one. Cancer, the emotional, the drama queen. Leo, the expensive orgasm. Virgo, the assertive orgasm. Libra, right? The vanity orgasm. Scorpio, the mind-blowing orgasm. And then Sagittarius, whoever the fuck you are. Sagittarius, the energetic orgasm.
Oh.
So,
runners.
those are all, I thought that was pretty cool to find zodiac sign orgasm shit stuff. That was pretty cool.
That was very cool. I love reading that
Yeah.
stuff.
So, now that we're coming somewhat to a close, we have our last segment of the day, which is Madison's Weird Erotica. And Madison, you still want me to read it for you?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Madison's in a place right now where she doesn't feel comfortable reading this out loud.
And you'll understand
for fear,
why here in a couple
of
minutes.
judgment. So she sent it to me, so I'm going to read it. She found this really funny article on the robotsvoice.com. I'll link it below in the show notes. And it's like the top 10 weird fucking fan fiction erotica. So this one is some Jurassic Park guys and a... Oh shit, how do you say this dinosaur's name? Velociraptor? Yeah. Some Jurassic Park guys and a Velociraptor, and the name of it is called Root Her. And so the writer for the article, not the erotica, said, "Holy hell, I don't think there's any conceivable excuse for a person who writes snuff dinosaur erotica. I'm going to admit right now that this story made me laugh hysterically right before it made me break into choked sobs of despair. The descriptions are at once ludicrous and fucking terrifying. The acid trip just keeps going too. I wouldn't dare spare any of you from the horrors though, so please read on for some writing samples." And so we're going to read the longest one. And it's now steel yourselves because this next one is not gentle. Alright, you guys ready for this? I'm going to try and read it in a sexy voice. Alright. Finally, the raptor could take it no more. Squealing as if she intended to drown out all other sounds that had ever been made by anything in the history of ever, she came hard and fast, her vaginal walls constricting around Joffrey like a vice's wave after wave of putrid velociraptor love. Tabasco squirted everywhere, dousing the floor and walls of the cage in a layer of horribleness half an inch thick. Joffrey screamed in agony as his frail, warm-blooded member was crushed by this merciless barrage and tried desperately to pull out of her, but it was too late. In a final act of climax, she spun around again, taking him with her and cracking his spine in two. Acting on pure instinct, she sank her powerful jaws into the sides of his skull and bit down hard, ripping his head clean in half and scattering flesh and blood everywhere. As her teeth entered his brain, they triggered his pleasure and pain senses, sending him at once into the most disturbingly intense agony a human being can possibly experience, and bringing him to such heights of ecstasy as humankind can only dream of. Then he died.
Okay.
So Mason, is this how you feel like your orgasms usually go? Or
No.
Do you want to kill your
I like the
afterwards?
Yeah. No. Not
putrid
really.
velociraptor love Tabasco squirted everywhere. I'm sitting there like, Tabasco sauce? I put that on my
Yes,
ass in
I
the
was
morning.
thinking.
Like, are there other meanings for Tabasco? Because I'm bound to be. I don't know. That was interesting though. And if you click on this article, the 10 fan fiction eroticas are Star Wars Episode 8, A New Hope, Tony Stark and Astro Boy and Sparking Tickle, May and Buster the Tedirusa and Adopting a Cute Bear Cub, the Some Jurassic Park Guys and a Velociraptor and Root Her, Green Koopa and Red Koopa and Creation of a Dry Bones. Tails and Amy and What's the Story, Morning Glory. Saving Minutes Saves Money. Draco and Lucius Malfoy and Squick. Laura Croft and Laura Croft on Cannibal Island. And the Pokemon story. So, any of you guys are interested, especially one. The Harry Potter one. So, I'm excited. I'm gonna read the Harry Potter one when I take my bath tonight. I'm gonna, and then I'm gonna be the Aries independent orgasm, and that'll be it for me. So
I'm just gonna cry.
Away.
I just about you little bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that is the end of our episode about orgasms. So make sure you are following us on all of our social media. Madison recently posted an Instagram picture that everyone loves. So go follow her.
Oh.
Matt E. Shun. It'll all be linked below our social media. Mason is not an actual person, so he doesn't have social media.
Wow.
Make sure to like us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Sexpert with me or Renee, the actual word, with me or Renee. Also, be submitting emails and stuff. You can submit to Sexpert, have your questions answered, your stories heard. You can find that form on our Facebook page. If you follow me on Twitter, at Mia Renee Cole, which that's my, social media name for everything, you can participate in the polls that I run before doing the show. And also you can find links there as well. So we're all over the place. Definitely find us. Subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes. Make sure you're checking out our crowdfunding campaign to help the show running for free for everybody. And Madison, yes.
I just remembered that today is International Kissing Day, so I hope you all kiss somebody.
Today, the day we're recording, Wednesday, is International Kissing Day. So by the time this airs, it'll be Friday. But I hope you're all kissing people.
I hope everyone's out there.
Did everyone kiss someone today here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also gave a bag of kisses because I thought that was the cutest thing ever.
Cute. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Okay, so we all kissed a person today, even if it was your cat. All right.
Oh.
Good. No, I'm kidding.
They need love.
I haven't kissed him today. I should probably do that. Fuck you, Mason. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go. Right everyone, there. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll see you next time. Remember, stay sexy.